The words freeze me in the doorway of the nursery. You're not my mother. 3-year-old Lily stands in her crib, pointing at Victoria Ashworth, the woman who will marry her father in 6 weeks. The woman whose smile appears in society magazines. The woman who hired me to care for this child. Victoria's face transforms. Just for a second. Something cold and vicious flashes across her perfect features before the sweetness returns. Of course I'm not, darling, Victoria coos. But mommy's in heaven, remember? So I'm going to be your new mommy soon. No. Lily's voice is small but certain. You're mean. Victoria's hand moves so fast I almost miss it. She grabs Lily's wrist, not hard enough to bruise, never hard enough to leave marks, and leans close. Listen to me, you little brat. I drop the laundry basket. The sound makes Victoria release Lily instantly, stepping back with practiced grace as she turns to me. Oh, Grace. I was just putting Lily down for her nap. She's being difficult today. That smile again. Magazine perfect. Empty. Perhaps you could manage her better than I can. I have a dress fitting anyway. She glides past me in a cloud of expensive perfume. I rush to Lily. The little girl is trembling, her dark eyes wet with tears she won't let fall. She's learned not to cry when Victoria is near. She's 3 years old, and she's already learned to hide. I've got you. I whisper, lifting her from the crib. You're safe. But even as I say it, I know it's a lie. 6 weeks earlier, the Ashworth mansion sits on Lake Michigan like a crown jewel. 40 rooms of marble and glass overlooking water that stretches to the horizon. I stand at the service entrance with my single suitcase, my carefully pressed interview outfit, my letter of recommendation from my previous family. I don't mention that I left that family because I couldn't save their daughter from her stepmother's calculated cruelty, that I reported my suspicions and was dismissed as an hysterical employee, that I watched a little girl's light dim while everyone praised her new mother's devotion. I don't mention that I failed. I just need this job. I need to prove to myself that I can do this work without seeing ghosts in every wealthy household. The estate manager, Mr. Chun, escorts me through halls lined with art worth more than I'll earn in a lifetime. He explains in careful words that Mr. Ashworth, billionaire tech entrepreneur, young widower, devoted father, needs someone reliable. His fiancée, Miss Ashworth-to-be, helps with childcare, Mr. Chin says. But her schedule is demanding. Charity work, you understand. Lily needs consistency. Something in his tone makes me look at him sharply. But his face reveals nothing. He opens the nursery door. Lily sits on the floor surrounded by toys she's not playing with. She's tiny for 3, with her late mother's dark curls and her father's serious gray eyes. When she sees me, she doesn't smile or hide or run to an adult. She just watches, carefully, like she's learned that new people are threats until proven otherwise. My heart cracks. Hello, Lily, I say, kneeling to her level. I'm Grace. I'm here to be your friend. I have no friends, she says matter-of-factly. Well, now you have one. The smallest hint of hope flickers in her eyes. Then she glances toward the door, checking, I realize, to see if someone is listening, and the hope disappears. A 3-year-old who has learned to perform. I meet Victoria Ashworth that evening. She's beautiful in that calculated way. Personal trainer, nutritionist, stylist beautiful. 28 years old, a decade younger than Mr. Ashworth. Former PR director at his company, now full-time philanthropist and soon-to-be wife. Grace, so wonderful to meet you. Her handshake is firm, her smile blinding. Lily needs someone nurturing. Her mother's death was so traumatic. She's been acting out terribly. Aggression, lying, these little episodes of defiance. The child psychologist says it's normal grief, but honestly, it's exhausting. I smile blandly. Children express grief in many ways. Exactly. You understand. I try so hard with her, but she resists everything I do. I think she blames me for her mother not being here. Victoria sighs dramatically. I could never replace Elizabeth, Saint Elizabeth, as everyone calls her. I'm just trying to help Robert move forward. Robert Ashworth appears then, 40, handsome in a tired way, carrying the weight of running a tech empire and raising a daughter alone. He looks at Victoria with something like gratitude. Grace, thank you for coming, he says. Lily needs stability. Victoria does her best, but work keeps me away too much, and Victoria has her commitments. I'll take excellent care of her. I promise. That night, I do my first bed check. Lily is supposed to be asleep, but I find her sitting up in the dark, clutching a stuffed rabbit. Can't sleep? I ask softly. Victoria says Mommy isn't coming back. That's true, sweetheart. But your mommy loved you very much. Victoria says I don't remember her right. Says I make up stories. My blood chills. What kind of stories? That mommy sang to me. That she smelled like flowers. Victoria says I'm too young to remember. Says I'm lying. I kneel beside her crib. You're not lying. Those are your memories, and they're real. Lily's hand finds mine in the darkness. Victoria says if I keep lying, she'll have to punish me. I start documenting the next day. Small things at first. Victoria's interactions with Lily when she thinks no one is watching. The way she speaks sweetly in front of Robert, then turns cold when he leaves. The casual cruelties disguised as discipline. Lily, darling, you can't have dessert. You were rude to me earlier. Grace, you saw how rude she was, didn't you? I didn't. But I'm learning that Victoria creates narratives that can't be disputed because she's the adult, the bride-to-be, the philanthropist. Who would believe a maid over her? Day 4. I find Lily locked in the bathroom. Time out. Victoria explains when I ask. She threw a tantrum. Day 7. Lily's lunch, accidentally, contains strawberries. I find her medical file, severe strawberry allergy. Victoria apologizes profusely. I completely forgot. How silly of me. Day 9. I hear Victoria whispering to Lily in the hallway. Your father loves me now. If you tell him lies about me, he'll send you away. They have places for bad little girls whose mothers don't want them anymore. Lily is 3 years old. Day 12. I try to speak to Robert. Mr. Ashworth, I have some concerns about Grace. I appreciate your dedication, but Victoria has been wonderful with Lily. I know my daughter can be difficult. Elizabeth spoiled her terribly. We're trying to establish better boundaries. He says, like Victoria is already Lily's mother. I realize then that he's desperate to believe the beautiful woman who appeared after his wife died is exactly what she seems. That he needs Victoria to be good because the alternative is unbearable. Day 18. Victoria crosses a line. I find Lily shivering on the balcony in just her nightgown. It's 40 degrees outside. Victoria said I had to think about being good. Lily whispers through chattering teeth. I grab her, wrap her in my cardigan, and storm through the mansion until I find Victoria in the sitting room having tea with her wedding planner. How long was she outside? Victoria looks up with surprised innocence. Who, darling? Lily. On the balcony. In November. Oh, she asked to go outside. I said she could for a few minutes. Was it too long? I lost track of time. She touches her hand to her chest. I'm so sorry. I would never intentionally. She's 3. And old enough to know not to stay out in the cold. Victoria's eyes meet mine. In them, I see the truth she'll never say aloud. I know what I'm doing. And you can't stop me. That night, I hold Lily while she cries. I want my mommy. I know, sweetheart. Make Victoria go away. I'm trying, but I don't know how. Because I've been here before, watching cruelty disguised as care, seeing manipulation dressed as motherhood, knowing something is deeply wrong while everyone else sees a fairy tale. Victoria is making Lily disappear, slowly erasing the child she was, replacing her with a fearful, compliant shadow. And in 6 weeks, she'll legally become this child's mother, unless I can prove what she really is. I call my old supervisor from Child Protective Services, the one who believed me before, too late. Teresa, I need advice. She listens to everything. Then, brace, you know what they'll say? Privileged child with grief issues. Caring stepmother-to-be, trying her best. No physical abuse. No evidence beyond your word. There's psychological abuse. Isolation. Deliberate triggering of her allergies. Can you prove intent? Or is it plausible accidents by a woman learning to parent? The question hangs between us. Because that's Victoria's genius. Everything she does has deniability. Document everything. Teresa finally says, get evidence. But Grace? Be careful. Rich people protect their own. And you're just the maid. I know. I start recording. My phone, positioned carefully during Victoria's visits to the nursery. I capture her saccharine voice in front of Robert. Lily, darling, give me a hug. And Lily's mechanical compliance. I capture Robert leaving. Victoria's smile dropping. You're going to make me look bad. Victoria hisses at the child. Do you know what happens to little girls who make me look bad? No, Lily whispers. They disappear. Like your mother. I have it. Clear audio. Explicit threat. But when I try to show Robert that evening, his assistant intercepts me. Mr. Ashworth is in Tokyo for the week. Emergency acquisition. Miss Ashworth is handling all household matters in his absence. Of course she is. That night, Victoria comes to my room. Grace, we need to talk. She sits on my bed uninvited, examines her manicure. I think this arrangement isn't working out. I take excellent care of Lily. Oh, you do? Too well, actually. She's becoming attached, and that's not healthy. She needs to bond with me, not the help. Victoria's smile is knife-sharp. I've spoken to Robert. We agree you should be let go after the wedding. We'll give you a generous severance, of course. Does Robert know you lock his daughter on balconies? I have no idea what you mean. And who would believe such an accusation? Robert trusts me completely. The staff adores me. I give such generous bonuses. And you? She stands, smoothing her dress. You're a maid with a history of making wild claims about your employers. I did my research, Grace. Your previous family? They said you were unstable. Saw abuse where there was only normal discipline. My throat closes. Because they did say that. After I reported them. After their lawyers threatened me. After they destroyed my reputation to protect themselves. I'm not leaving Lily, I say. Then I'll make sure you're fired for cause. No reference. No severance. Blacklisted from every agency. Victoria leans close. Where you can leave quietly after the wedding. Take your money. And let Robert and me raise his daughter without interference from someone who clearly has boundary issues. She leaves. I sit in the darkness of my room, shaking. I've been here before. The powerless one seeing the truth while everyone else sees a lie. And I lost. But this time, I have recordings. This time, I won't stay silent. I contact a family lawyer the next morning. Show her everything. The recordings, my documented observations. The medical file showing Lily's allergy that Victoria forgot. The lawyer listens, then sighs. It's not enough. Emotional abuse is notoriously hard to prove, especially against a wealthy, well-connected woman. And your recordings? Illinois requires two-party consent. They're inadmissible and potentially illegal. So she gets away with it? I didn't say that. I said you need more. You need witnesses. You need physical evidence. You need Victoria to reveal herself in a way that can't be explained away. How? Let her think she's won. People who believe they're untouchable get careless. I tell Victoria I'll resign after the wedding. Her relief is obvious. She becomes almost friendly, certain I've accepted defeat. She increases her time with Lily, confident I won't interfere. And I watch. I document. I wait for her to slip. It happens 5 days before the wedding. Robert returns from Tokyo exhausted. Victoria convinces him to attend a business dinner. You need to maintain relationships, darling. Grace will watch Lily. But Victoria doesn't go to the dinner. She waits until Robert leaves, then returns to the mansion. I hear her enter Lily's bathroom, while I'm in the hall closet retrieving fresh linens. I position myself where I can see but remain unseen. Victoria opens the medicine cabinet, takes out Lily's EpiPen, the emergency treatment for her allergic reactions, and replaces it with an expired one from her purse. I capture it all on video from my hidden angle. Then Victoria goes to the kitchen. I follow at a distance. She prepares a smoothie, adding strawberries from a container in her bag, fresh ones, not the strawberry-free products carefully kept in this household. She brings it to the nursery where Lily is playing. Look what I made you, sweetheart. Your favorite. Lily eyes the pink smoothie suspiciously. She's learned to fear Victoria's gifts. I don't want it. Don't be difficult. Drink it. Now. No. Victoria's mask slips. You ungrateful little brat. After everything I do for you. Drink it. I step into the doorway. Lily isn't drinking that. Victoria spins, shock and fury warring on her face. Then she recovers, smile sliding back into place. Grace, I thought you'd gone home. I made Lily a special smoothie, but she's being fussy. It has strawberries in it. Don't be ridiculous. I know about her allergy. Then why did I just watch you blend strawberries into it? Why did I watch you replace her EpiPen with an expired one? The room goes silent. Victoria's face transforms completely. No more sweetness. No more pretense. Just cold, calculated rage. You have no proof. I hold up my phone. I have video. Clear footage of everything. And this time, I won't make the mistake of confronting you privately. I've already sent copies to 3 email addresses with instructions to forward them to the police if anything happens to me or Lily. It's the same bluff I used before at the Whitmore estate. But this time, it's not a bluff. I learned my lesson. Victoria stares at me, at the phone, at Lily, who's pressed against my legs. Robert will never believe you. Then let's ask him. I'll pull out my phone and call Robert. He answers on the second ring. Grace? Is everything all right? Mr. Ashworth, I need you to come home immediately. There's an emergency involving Lily's safety. What happened? Is she hurt? Not yet. But she will be if you don't come home right now. Victoria lunges for my phone. I step back, keeping Lily behind me. Grace? What's going on? Robert's voice is sharp with panic. Your fiancé just tried to poison your daughter. Robert arrives in 20 minutes. He bursts through the door to find Victoria composed and tearful, me standing protective guard over Lily, and the strawberry smoothie still sitting on the nursery table. Robert, thank God you're here, Victoria sobs. Grace has gone completely insane. She's making horrible accusations, threatening me, scaring poor Lily. Show him, I say quietly. Robert looks between us. Show me what? I hand him my phone. The video plays. Victoria entering the bathroom, switching the EpiPen, making the smoothie with strawberries, trying to force Lily to drink it. The color drains from Robert's face. This is edited, Victoria says quickly. We're staged. Grace has been unstable since she started. Test the smoothie. I interrupt. Test the EpiPen in the bathroom. Check the expiration date. Look at the strawberry container in her purse. Robert moves like a man in a dream. He goes to the bathroom, returns with both EpiPens, checks the dates. One expires next year. One expired 8 months ago. He picks up the smoothie, examines it, sets it down carefully. Victoria. His voice is hollow. Tell me this is a misunderstanding. She's trying to turn you against me. She's jealous. She wants you for herself. Tell me you didn't just try to cause an allergic reaction in my daughter. Silence. Then Victoria laughs. It's brittle and cold. So what if I did? She'd survive. You'd rush her to the hospital. Everyone would see what a crisis brings out in a child, her true nature, her manipulation, her need for attention. Victoria's beautiful face twists into something ugly. You'd finally see that she's the problem, not me. Robert staggers backward. I've given you everything, Victoria continues, her voice rising. I buried my career to support yours. I planned this wedding. I pretended to love your bratty daughter. Get out, Robert whispers. What? Get out of my house. Victoria leaves in a fury of threats, lawyers, lawsuits, destruction of Robert's reputation. Her mask is completely gone now, revealing the calculated predator beneath. Robert calls the police. They take statements, confiscate the smoothie and EpiPens as evidence, document everything. Victoria is arrested that night for attempted assault of a minor. The society pages that praised her charity work now dissect her fall. Investigation reveals a pattern. She targeted wealthy widowers, isolated their children, positioned herself as the solution to problems she created. Robert was her third engagement. The previous 2 ended when the men's children were sent to boarding schools, removed from her daily reach. Lily was supposed to disappear too. Not physically, that would be too obvious, but emotionally, psychologically, sent away to therapeutic boarding schools while Victoria convinced Robert it was for the best. And if the allergic reaction had succeeded, if Lily had been hospitalized, Victoria would have been there holding Robert's hand, suggesting gently that maybe Lily did it for attention. Maybe she needed more intensive help. Maybe distance would be healthier for everyone. She almost won. The weeks after our gentle chaos, Robert takes a leave from work. He stays home with Lily, relearning his daughter, seeing her clearly for the first time since Elizabeth died. I missed it, he tells me one evening while Lily sleeps. All the signs. I was so desperate for someone to make things easier that I didn't see she was making them worse. She's very good at hiding. I say carefully. He saw it. Immediately, he looks at me with something like awe. How? I think of my previous family, of the little girl I couldn't save, of all the years I've spent in wealthy households, watching from the margins. People like me learn to notice things. We see what happens when the performance ends, and we've learned that being right doesn't always mean being believed. I'm sorry you weren't believed before. The apology surprises me. Wealthy people rarely acknowledge that the help might know things they don't. Thank you, I say. Lily heals slowly. The nightmares fade. The fearful compliance transforms back into normal 3-year-old boundary testing. She laughs again, plays again, remembers her mother without someone telling her she's lying. She still needs me close. Still checks to make sure I'm not leaving. Still wakes sometimes in the night calling for me. I've got you, I tell her every time. You're safe. And this time, it's true. Robert asked me to stay on as Lily's full-time nanny. He triples my salary, offers benefits I've never had before, gives me a suite in the house instead of the maid's quarters. You saved my daughter's life, he says. Whatever you need, it's yours. What I need is for this to mean something beyond one child, one household, one narrow escape. I want to start a program, I tell him. Training for household staff, nannies, maids, caregivers. Teaching them to recognize signs of abuse. Empowering them to speak up. Creating legal support for when they do. Robert doesn't hesitate. I'll fund it. Whatever it takes. The Children's Guardian Project launches 6 months later. We operate out of a small office in Chicago. We train domestic workers in recognizing abuse. We provide legal resources. We take reports seriously. We investigate. We believe the people who see what happens behind closed doors. In our first year, we identify 11 cases of child abuse or neglect in wealthy households. We help 4 nannies report employers safely. We change 3 families' lives. It's not enough. It's never enough. But it's something. Lily turns 4, then 5. She starts school, makes friends, talks about her mother without fear, visits a child psychologist who helps her process what Victoria did. Was Victoria bad? She asked me one day. Victoria made bad choices. I say carefully. She hurt people. But you survived. You're strong. You saved me. You saved yourself by telling the truth. By saying, she wasn't your mother. By trusting your feelings. Lily considers this. Will she come back? No, sweetheart. She's in jail. And your dad, and I will always protect you. Promise. Promise. Robert never dates again. I'm focusing on being Lily's father, he says. That's enough. He becomes involved in the Guardian Project. Uses his business connections to expand our reach. Funds training programs nationwide. He testifies before Congress about the vulnerability of children in wealthy households. About how authority and class create blind spots. About how the people society dismisses often see the clearest truth. We nearly lost my daughter because I trusted the wrong person and ignored the right one, he tells lawmakers. Because I believe credentials over character. Because I forgot that love isn't convenient, it's vigilant. The speech goes viral. Donations pour in. We expand to 12 states. We're changing the conversation about who gets believed when abuse is reported. It's slow. It's frustrating. But it's happening. 3 years after Victoria's arrest, I receive a letter from the family I worked for before the Ashworths. The little girl I couldn't save is 12 now. Her stepmother's cruelty escalated until the girl ran away to her grandmother's house. The grandmother hired lawyers. Fought back. Won custody. Thank you for trying, the letter says. Even when no one listened. Even when it cost you. You showed me that speaking up matters. Even when it doesn't work right away. You taught me I wasn't crazy. That someone saw. I cry reading it. Because that's the truth we're teaching through the Guardian Project. Being heard matters even when it doesn't immediately change things. Being believed plants seeds that grow later. Refusing silence creates permission for others to speak. We don't save everyone, but we save some. And those small victories ripple outward in ways we'll never fully measure. On the 6th anniversary of the day I started working for the Ashworths, Lily, now 9 years old, brings me flowers from the garden. Happy anniversary of saving my life, she announces. I'm happy to celebrate you any day, I tell her. Dad says I can give the opening speech at the Guardian Project fundraiser. Will you help me write it? We sit together crafting her words. She talks about remembering to trust her feelings. About how "you're not my mother" was the truest thing she ever said. I knew something was wrong, she tells the audience weeks later, poised and confident in a way 3-year-old Lily never could have been. But I was little. I thought no one would believe me. Then Grace believed me. She showed me that being small doesn't mean being wrong. The room erupts in applause. I watch from the side of the stage, tears streaming down my face. Because this is what justice looks like. Not just Victoria in prison, but Lily standing tall. Speaking truth. Using her voice to protect others. This is what happens when we refuse to stay silent. Sometimes I think about how close we came to losing her. If I'd accepted the job after the wedding. If I'd been too afraid to confront Victoria. If I'd believed that my word against hers was hopeless. But I learned something from my previous failure. Silence guarantees defeat. Speaking up only risks it. And risk is better than certainty when certainty means watching cruelty win. The Guardian Project continues growing. We've trained 3,000 domestic workers now, investigated 200 cases, changed laws in 4 states, created a national hotline for caregivers who witness abuse. We've built a network of the invisible people who keep households running, the ones who see what happens when cameras aren't rolling, when guests leave, when the performance ends. And we've given them something precious, the knowledge that their observations matter, that their voices count. That being just a maid doesn't mean being powerless. It means having access to the truth that privilege hides. On a Sunday evening, I find Lily reading in the garden where we planted flowers together years ago. She's grown so much. She's happy. She's healing. She's safe. "Grace," she says without looking up, "do you think my mom would be proud of me? I think she'd be amazed by you. Do you think she sent you to save me?" I sit beside her, considering the question seriously. I think the universe works in mysterious ways. I think people who've lost. Someone learned to see loss coming in others. And I think your mom's love for you is written in every choice you make to be brave. Lily leans against my shoulder. "I'm glad you didn't stay quiet." "Me too, sweetheart." We sit together as the sun sets over Lake Michigan, over this house where terrible things almost happened but didn't, where a child's truth was finally heard, where justice arrived just in time. Not every story ends this way. I know that. The Guardian Project takes dozens of calls that come too late, that reveal damage already done, that show us the limits of intervention. But some stories end with a little girl reading peacefully in a garden, safe and loved and believed. And those stories? They're why we keep fighting. If this story touched you, if you've ever felt invisible, ever questioned whether your voice matters, ever wondered if speaking up is worth the risk, I want you to know something. It is. Your observations are valid. Your instincts matter. Your willingness to see what others ignore makes you powerful, not powerless. The world needs people who notice things, who refuse to accept convenient lies, who risk everything to protect the vulnerable. Be that person. Be the one who says something's wrong when everyone else says everything's fine. Be the one who believes children over charm, character over credentials, truth over comfort. Be the one who remembers that the smallest voice in the room might be speaking the loudest truth. And if you're someone who's been that voice, who's spoken up and been dismissed, who's seen abuse and been called hysterical, who's tried to help and been punished for it, please know this. Your courage mattered. Even if it didn't change things immediately, even if you weren't believed, even if you lost, you planted seeds. You showed someone that speaking up is possible. You created permission for the next person to be brave. That's not failure. That's revolution happening one honest word at a time. The maids of the world, the caregivers, the helpers, the overlooked ones who see what wealth tries to hide. We are the witnesses, the truth tellers, the ones who refuse to let cruelty hide behind closed doors in prestigious names. And sometimes, when we're brave enough, we save lives. Not because we're heroes, but because we decided that silence costs more than speaking up ever could. That decision changes everything.